You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And this is the Week 11 Pick Show. We are riding a hot hand. We want to keep it up. So, let's get right to the games.
Let's do it.
Okay. Thursday night, we have Buffalo +5 at Miami. We don't bet Thursday night games here at Offensive Lines.
No, we've learned our lesson.
The matchup on paper is really intriguing. I like both these teams quite a bit. But I certainly don't want to bet it.
They both played physical teams last week as well.
And very physical games. I think Miami's slightly better on offense. Buffalo's defense are fierce. I'm just going to take the 5.
I'm going the opposite. I'm gonna lay the 5 with the Dolphins.
Okay.
I know they're not traveling far from Buffalo to Miami. These games tend to favor the home team outside of last week, and the Giants win this year. The home team's dominated.
Yeah, I said that 2 or 3 years ago. I just said I'm just going to take the home team every week, but the thing that bothers me with Buffalo is they had problems scoring against Kansas City's defense. Watkins wasn't the same. I watched a fair bit of this game. I didn't see him catch a ball. And they had no running game to speak of. And with that Miami offensive or defensive front, it could be a long night for Mr. Kyle Orton. That's a pretty solid argument, Boyd.
And Kyle Orton is no Drew Stafford, and they put up 20 points with Megatron and Golden Tate.
Well, I don't think Matt Stafford is Drew Stafford either.
Or Matt's Drew Stafford. Fuck. I'm
Sorry,
talking hockey
couldn't let that one slide.
It's fucking hockey now. I'm throwing in hockey names. Can you tell I watched the Islander game tonight? But no, Kyle Orton's no Matt Stafford. The Bills had no running game. Jackson still hobbled.
And on the short week, he was restricted in practice, and from what I've heard, he didn't look like himself anyway.
I'm taking Miami, buddy.
You know what? I'm switching over to Miami, too. That was a very persuasive argument.
We should bet on this. That's when we usually get them right when the other guy persuades. I persuaded you on the Niners in our picks last week.
Yeah.
And just for anybody listening out there on our picks challenge, if you go back and listen to last week's podcast, we'd picked the Niners. Marlon mistakenly had us with the Saints on the website, and I corrected that today, Tuesday. So if you're wondering why we have that as right and Doug has it wrong, that's why. And you can listen to the podcast from last week because I changed. I'm going to
check the game tape to make sure.
But you had it written down as San Francisco for both of us. I said that they would go back to running the ball. Kaepernick would run. They would change up. They always, when we think they're dead, they don't die, and they covered. So.
Yeah, actually, the switch over. It's still Thursday night, and
no, I know.
I hate to have a position on Thursday night.
No, I'm not betting. I was just kidding.
Hateful. No, I hear your point,
but usually when we do that, we're usually right. So, watch fucking Buffalo will win by 12.
I like both these teams. I mean, this is a Thursday night game that I really hope actually turns into a watchable entertainment.
I like Buffalo's defense.
I like Buffalo's defense. I like Miami's defense. Anyway, I like both these teams quite a bit. I respect them both. I think they're both certainly above average and maybe even quality football teams.
Yep.
Next up, we have Atlanta +1.5 at Carolina.
And they're both still in the running for the division crown at 3-6 and 1.
Atlanta beats Tampa Bay, and they're right back in the race with New Orleans losing.
And I don't really want to bet it, but
No.
in a tough slate, I might leave this on the board.
No.
Okay, fair enough. It's two terrible teams, but Cam Newton, I don't care what Ron Rivera says, he is hurt. He is not fluid in any way. He is about a third of the speed that Cam Newton is capable of. He just looks battered. They've got no pass rush to speak of, which was fearsome last year with Hardy out. All of the replacements have combined for fewer sacks than Hardy alone, I believe, got at this point last year. I like Atlanta quite a bit in this game, and getting points is a bonus. So I'm on Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta here, too. I'm not 100% comfortable, but the Newton ankle injuries, Atlanta has no real pass rush to speak of. Their defense is crap.
That's very true.
If Carolina is going to win this game, Stewart and Williams got to run for combined 150 to 200 yards.
And D'Angelo Williams looked awful.
And the other thing, how are they stopping Kelvin Benjamin if Newton can stay upright long enough? He's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast with the drops. And
but
he's still a rookie. But I don't see how Carolina can cover White and Julio.
This is true. No, I'm taking
Either. And Roddy White. Yeah, no, not bad. I understand backing off. It's a two shitty teams matchup. And Carolina isn't as shitty as Tampa Bay. I would have made a stronger argument for Atlanta last week, but Carolina is better than Tampa.
Atlanta didn't really blow that game out of the water until late in the fourth quarter either. It was a one-score game. So,
exactly, and that's why I'm not trying to convince you very much here.
We'll throw this one out.
But the way Newton was moving, I mean, we were watching it, and I'm just going, he's not right. In the past where he would turn it up for 6 yards and get out of bounds, he was running for the sidelines for his life and got chased down by someone who on a standard day is slower than him. Cam Newton is hurt fairly badly.
Yeah, and if I would have watched that game, I probably would agree with. I didn't see it, so I'm taking your knowledge on it. But yeah, I was leaning Carolina in this one.
Oh, really?
I'll
Okay.
take Atlanta.
All right.
I'll take Atlanta.
Next game up, we have Cincy +7 at New Orleans.
Don't want to touch it.
I don't want to touch it. The only thing I'm going to bring out is that teams who lose on the Thursday by 3 touchdowns are almost a lock to cover the following week. So I'm going Cincy.
Yeah, me too. I don't trust New Orleans. They could blow them out here. It wouldn't surprise me.
At home, I mean, New Orleans is capable of it.
That offense isn't the same. Drew Brees isn't the same.
Drew Brees looked terrible.
That jitterbugging when he got the strip sack to set up the winning field goal against San Francisco, he held on to that ball way too fucking long.
What receiver do you are you confident in New Orleans?
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah. That's it. And I was thinking more wide receivers, but
and Ingram is hurt, I believe, or hobbled. They signed his running back off a practice roster, and they brought in Michael LaShore. They brought in 4 running backs this week already.
Yeah,
so there's something going on there.
And Cincy, we didn't talk about this in the recap show, but that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen by a team. Yeah, it was that bad, but they're a better team than that. There's just no way around it. They can't be that bad.
No.
And, and it's inside a dome, so I don't know, maybe Dalton can't handle that wind or whatever, but I don't think Cincy is really 7 points worse. I'm taking them to cover.
Man, I just had a thought. AJ Green looked awful too. Like, he doesn't look healthy in that game.
Is that a fair assessment? Because none of the balls were close to him.
No, but when I saw a couple of his catches, and he just didn't look right. He's like getting up after being tackled. Man, oh man.
Like, I think that Cleveland game could have been slightly closer, except Jeremy Hill fumbled, which has been very rare for a rookie. It was a terrible fumble, I agree with it. He had the ball out from his body. It got punched out. But Marv Lewis, I guess because he wants to be Belichick, immediately benched him for a guy who got like -2 yards per carry versus the guy who'd been running fairly successfully for about 5. So, way to make your point, coach. That'll stop him from fumbling. Fuck off.
So, yeah, I don't know what to do here. Cincinnati has looked bad.
I'm going on that trend betting off Thursday night blowouts. And 7 points is a lot to lay for a New Orleans team that lost to a dysfunctional San Francisco team at home.
Well, they used to be a lock at home, and they've lost to San Francisco and Atlanta.
They did blow out Green Bay, but I don't know. I'm taking Cincy. We're not betting it.
No. Fuck it, I'm taking New Orleans.
Okay, I'll switch you over. Next game up, we have Denver minus 9.5 at the Rams.
This one could be in the mix.
Yeah, I think it could be. I think we're both looking at Denver on this.
Yes.
As much as I dread big spreads with Denver, and St. Louis is playing a lot better than they were early in the season.
Oh, they're plucky.
Yeah, their pass rush has returned. They've gotten 11 sacks in the last couple of weeks, but I don't see that continuing against Denver. And when they're not getting those sacks, they're not that good. I mean, I like Austin Davis. I think he's got a future.
Well, if you said what receiver on the Saints scares you, which ones on the Rams scare you?
I couldn't name anything other than Tavon Austin, who has been pretty much a horrific disappointment.
Yeah. They're not stopping this offense.
No, I don't see them stopping this offense, and their best feature is their defense. Like, I think they probably deserve to cover except for 90 seconds in that Arizona game. But that said, this could very much be in the mix at Denver.
And let's just say Arizona isn't quite the offense that Denver is. No. The Niners aren't the offense that Denver is. And the Niners put up 31 in St. Louis, even though they were down 14-0 early. So it's...
And I think the defenses, like, I like Arizona's defense, but I like Denver's defense too. I think the defenses are comparable.
Yeah. Yeah, and Denver's defense is starting to come around. Although, Austin Davis isn't Tom Brady, so let's just say that.
No, he's not. I do like him. I think he's performed well in this one. Yeah, we're both taking Denver, and I've marked it as in the mix. Okay. Next up, we have Houston +3 at Cleveland.
Now, I don't mind this game. I just hate that it's minus 125 for Cleveland.
And if it's not only that,
Okay, here's my reason for liking Cleveland in this one. Ryan Mallett is starting for the Texans. Have you seen him take a snap in the NFL? He's essentially a rookie, even though this is his third year in the league. How are they fucking winning that game or covering 3 points? Unless that defense scores 3 defensive touchdowns, there's no way they cover that game.
Okay.
But I don't.
This may fall like we'll keep it in the mix. Like that was a solid assessment there.
Well,
but it does fall.
It
does fall into the two shitty teams. Like
no, Cleveland's not a shitty team. They're 6-3.
I still think they're a shitty team.
They're not that shitty. They destroyed the Steelers, destroyed the Bengals, lost to the Ravens on a last-second field goal. I know they lost to Jacksonville, but that Houston team is fucking brutal. When you're, what are they, 4-6, and you bench your quarterback?
Well, that's because your quarterback was Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I know, but is Ryan Mallett the answer?
Well, we don't know, and that's certainly a wild card. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you.
This isn't the game to throw in the towel. This isn't the game to throw in the towel if you're Houston. Because if you win out, you could sneak in. And you're throwing in the towel, basically. You've told your team you're throwing in the towel by starting a quarterback that's never started a game in the NFL. That'd be like Cleveland going, okay, well, we lost to Jacksonville. I guess we bring in Manziel. That's the equivalent. And they've won their last 2 games. So
Cleveland. No, you make a solid point. It's definitely in the mix. The wild card there when Cleveland's defense doesn't blow me away, and maybe I'm undervaluing them. There's an excellent chance I'm undervaluing Cleveland. So that one's in the mix.
And they've already crushed our bet, so.
No, they haven't yet.
What, 6.5?
They got to lose out.
They're not losing out. They're winning this game, so.
Damn you, legacy bet. And, well, congratulations to the good people of Cleveland. You deserve some hope.
Yeah.
But, of course, it had to be with everyone, the City of Lights, City of Magic.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Minnesota +3 at Chicago.
Oh, I don't want this game to even be televised.
Yeah, Minnesota.
They should black it out across the country.
Minnesota's better than people think, but Chicago is infinitely more talented than their record, so I just want to walk away. I'm with you. I think Minnesota is a better team than people give them credit for.
Their defense is.
Yep.
That Bears team has quit.
McKinnon is not a bad running back. Bridgewater shows me moments of competence combined with more moments of cluelessness.
Yeah, but he's playing a defense that's college level at best.
Oh, yeah. Like,
how are the Bears -120 at -3? Is this another one where we...
Well, because the second 50-point beatdown is the one that sparks the team.
I didn't think they'd be favored in another game.
No. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is the fishy line. But, I'm taking Minnesota.
So am I. And it makes no logical... This is the fishy line. I should be going exactly the opposite of what I'm thinking.
No, except the fishy lines have always favored the underdog.
But they're basically saying this is a pick'em game with the 3 points to the Bears. That's your 3 points.
The winless at home Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I'm taking Minnesota. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong, but this...
I'd consider betting on this game, frankly. I mean, I don't know how, but I've ended up watching a fair number of minutes of Minnesota games. And I don't think they're... Oh, yeah.
You get beat by 40, and you're a 3-point favorite over a team coming off a bye.
You give up for the first time since 1923 is the last time any team gave up more than 50 points in successive games. And I believe...
3-point favorite at home. Winless at home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too fishy to even consider, but I'm jumping all over Minnesota here.
We might have to put on our big boy shoes and bet Minnesota to win this outright.
If we're going to go, we might have to. I'm going to bring it up at the end. We'll see what else we find on the board here.
Okay.
All right. Next up, Seattle +2 at KC.
I like this one.
Seattle?
Yep.
I kind of do too.
They're getting undervalued now. They went from being overvalued to undervalued now. They got back to their roots on Sunday against the Giants. Fucking pound Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, and they just started running Russell Wilson around. Like they had 350 yards, I believe, on the ground against the Giants. Now, admittedly, it's the Giants.
Now, I know, but KC's offense did not look good in Buffalo. And that Seattle defense is still the Seattle defense. Like, how are they
not still. I mean, they're not who they're were.
They're not last year, but they're not the defense of last year. They lost Membane, or whatever his name is. He's out for the year off the defensive line. The only player that scares me in that game is fucking Charles.
Charles and Kelsey, the tight end, is pretty sneaky good, and he's becoming more consistent. But
is Chancellor
Bo had his best game in probably 3 or 4 years, and he still didn't crack 100 yards, and he's their best wideout.
And they only scored 17 points in Buffalo.
Yeah,
Buffalo has a good defense, and Kansas City was fortunate to get those 17 points.
Yeah, I think
2 drives in
and the best
quarter.
Thing about KC is their pass rush. But if they just start running those bootlegs and options to Wilson, I don't think that even KC's pass rush is fast enough to deal with that. I mean, I think Russell Wilson's going to get 70 or 80 on the ground. They're going to run those plays again, working Wilson on the edges and then running Marshawn Lynch up the gut. And man, did he run fucking hard on Sunday. He was back for sure. I mean, it was just insane how he carried shit.
The only thing that scares me is they're behind at the half to the Giants at home. That's the only thing sticking in my craw. And I know you got to play 60 minutes. But it's just Lynch. If they get back to that, where they use the run, they're not trying to get Wilson 300 yards passing. That and the Carolina game on the road is fucking scary. That was their last road game. And they needed a touchdown with 30 seconds left to win that. Let's keep it in the mix. I liked it at first look, and now I'm talking myself out of it. But I really liked how Lynch ran. And if we pick this game, we're definitely picking them to win.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I don't hate it either. I do think I agree with you. Seattle's undervalued, but the other thing that worries me is how well DeMarco Murray ran against this defense. And DeMarco Murray and Jamal Charles are not that different.
Well, they are. Murray runs hard, though. Charles is outside more so than like a punishing rusher.
Little more so, but
he didn't bust 100 yards against Buffalo.
No, even with that 39-yard carry? Okay.
And they scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win that game.
Yeah.
One was on a 4th and 1 for 40 yards.
I'm not against
which essentially
this game.
Was a trick play. That pitch out, which you never see. Like I mentioned in the Picks podcast, that was the Titans used to do that with Vince Young and fucking Chris Johnson.
Yeah.
Last time I seen that play on 4th and 1.
It's in the mix.
Yeah.
Next up, we have San Fran -4 at the Giants. I'm just vetoing any play on this.
No,
The Niners are fucking me up the ass. The Niners, as a team, have cost me 2 pick 5 wins in the last 2 weeks, once by losing and once by winning. Fuck them. So, yeah, I don't want to... And whatever, you should make me pick first and go the opposite, and you'll guarantee a pick there.
We're both taking San Francisco here.
Yeah, okay. Well, hopefully my stink doesn't taint your pick.
Eli Manning won't fucking... No, we both took the Niners last week, and you ended up taking the Saints in your fucking... You've done that. That's twice. Isn't it? You went against our pick 5? Not both with the
Niners, yeah.
Or you went against our pick and your pick 5?
Yeah, I have 3 4-1s in my pick 5 this year. It's starting to grind on me.
I'm taking the Niners. I don't know how the Giants... The Niners defense is still... I don't know how they're doing it. It's not the defense's fault that they're struggling this year, even with all the guys out.
I believe Alden Smith is back this week.
He is.
Who I hope he gets it together, because I do enjoy watching him play football.
And McDonald's not going to get charged. He's not going to be out, even after all that puffing of the chest of, oh, you should suspend. And this was my problem when everything with the Ray Rice thing and everything happened, is that just because you're charged, they just suspend you with no... Or he wasn't even charged. He was being investigated for something, and they wanted him suspended.
Well, yeah, it's a knee-jerk overreaction. And the NFL will suspend you when there are no charges and do whatever. It's so arbitrary and capricious that, there has to be a better system. And I'm still kind of the belief, until you're convicted, you're innocent. I don't know. I thought it was some sort of crazy principle of British common law, which became the legal system in all of North America. Well, no, not Mexico. We're not under the French system where you are guilty until proven innocent. You are innocent until proven guilty. It's just kind of my crazy understanding.
And we should have brought this up maybe in the Picks podcast, but the NFL
recap podcast. This is the Picks podcast.
Or in our... Oh, Jesus.
That's twice. I let the first one slide.
Fuck off. Anyway, we should have brought it up earlier in our recap podcast about how they didn't follow their own fucking rules in the conduct policy with Ray Rice. They're dragging their feet on... Adrian Peterson has done everything they said he should do to get reinstated. Hasn't been reinstated. His hearing's not till the 17th. Alden Smith said he did everything the NFL asked of him to get early reinstatement. They didn't reinstate him. It's... Fuck, I don't know how Goodell's keeping his job, and that's all I'll say.
It's a shit show.
This is our pick show, so I don't want to get off topic, but...
I want to add one brief statement to this, too. So, in their explanation of fucking up the Ray Rice thing, they said they didn't have all the information because law enforcement wouldn't give it to them. But now they're demanding that in the face of laws designed to protect minors, etc., that they won't make a decision on Adrian Peterson because they're not getting all the information. Fuck them.
And on the Ray Rice thing, now that you brought him back up, Ozzie Newsome testified in the hearing that he was in the room when Ray Rice told Goodell that he hit her in the elevator.
Well, there are 2 transcripts. There's one from the representatives and Newsom that says, yes, I hit her. And the NFL one says the language is ambiguous. What transcript says ambiguous language? This is such a fucking blatant lie. Anyway, we're off topic. Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
It's just... I cannot believe the arrogance and bullshit of the NFL at times. In spite of them raising the bar every fucking year. Next up, 4 games. We are both down for the Niners against the Giants.
Yes.
Next game, Tampa Bay +7 at Washington.
I don't want to touch this game.
I really don't want to touch this game at all.
I'm looking at it going,
7's a lot for Washington. But Tampa Bay's awful.
Yeah.
And they got McCown back starting. Couldn't beat the awful Falcons at home. Give me Washington. I'll lay the 7. Not comfortably, but...
Jesus, like, I have nothing to add to that assessment. It's just something in my soul is screaming, really? You want to lay 7 on a Washington team?
Tampa Bay's that bad.
Yeah, I'm joining you on that, but I really don't think.
Spot. Only bright spot, Mike Evans.
Well, and they're yo-yoing quarterbacks, and
they tried trading Doug Martin, who was the savior running back a couple of years ago. Their Lovie Smith hasn't turned fuck all around. They look like what he left behind in fucking Chicago.
Yeah, they're a disaster. McCown was terrible to begin with, but I personally think Glennon even played better. It's just on a terrible team. And I don't see what the negative of just keeping Glennon playing and seeing how he reacts. But no, you're going to yo-yo quarterbacks because, I don't know. Do you think Lovey Pie, is he going to sign Rex Grossman? Because he tried out for a team earlier in the year.
Yeah.
He wants back in. Lovey and Rex together again. Let's start the movement. Okay. The next game up, we cannot bet on. It is Oakland plus 10 at San Diego.
Oh, man. I know Oakland keeps getting blown out, and then they cover, and then they get blown out, and then they cover.
They gave San Diego a hell of a game the last time they played, which exposed sort of what's become San Diego's decline. San Diego still has no pass rush. I still like Carr. I think he's the best of the rookie quarterbacks this year. He's developed Rivera, the tight end, who's playing really well for Oakland. Every week he gets more targets. Every week he gets more yards. I think 10's way too fucking high on this game. I'm taking Oakland.
Yeah, I am too. If it wasn't for the last game, I'd be taking San Diego again. And watch, they'll cover this time because I'm picking opposite of what I did last time. But 10's too much. They've lost, 3 in a row?
Yep.
Injuries everywhere you look. Secondary, running backs.
O-line.
I think you're getting Matthews back this week, aren't you?
Yeah, but I've never been a fan.
But you guys turned your season around last year when they started handing him the ball, so... And focusing the offense on him.
But the O-line is playing terribly. Fluker, who played really well last year, is just a turnstile now. No, I don't like it. I don't think this San Diego Chargers team should be laying 10 to anyone.
Not period. Right now. Give me Oakland.
Yeah, we're both on Oakland on that.
And is it any coincidence that you guys went in the tank when Danny Woodhead got hurt?
I don't think it is a coincidence. I think that as a reliable outlet for Rivers, his contribution to this team was vastly underrated. I don't think it's a coincidence at all.
5-1. You won that game you got hurt in, and you haven't won since.
Yeah, and an absolute lack of pressure. I mean, an improvement this week would be if one of our pass rushers could get within 2 to 3 yards of the opposing quarterback. That would be a step forward.
So we're both on Oakland.
Yep. Next up, Detroit +2 at Arizona.
I don't mind this game.
You want to bet this one?
It could be in the mix. And I know I have Arizona ahead of Detroit in my top 5. But give me that defense. And Drew, I mean Matt Stafford. That wasn't a.
There is a Drew. There is a Drew involved in this game, though, at quarterback.
Yes. But I don't mind Detroit here. That defense is good. We were worried about them against Miami, and I know they won it.
Well, I was worried about
Miami.
Fairley being hurt.
The defense has been there all year. Miami was playing well offensively. They went in there with got 16 points. They gave up one touchdown. You know, you have Stanton starting.
Like, I'll keep this in the mix. I agree with you, but I'm still very hesitant to take teams going into the desert.
Both these teams have just keep winning close games. All their games are close.
Yep.
Something's got to give here with the backup quarterback. Megatron's back, Tate.
But as I said in the recap show, you actually look at the numbers, and Stanton's performed almost identically to Carson Palmer. Plus, they have experience with him. He's not coming in cold off the bench.
No, I know, but he's
already played and played well in relief duty this year.
Yeah, but just because one mediocre quarterback replaces another mediocre quarterback against a good defense. They should have lost to Philly. Like you said yourself, they had a 90-second stretch against St. Louis, which the Detroit defense hasn't done all year, had a 90-second stretch like that.
Well, that was that was Arizona's defense who was responsible for really 14 of that 21-point run.
No, I know.
I'll agree with you to keep it in the mix, and I'm with you on Detroit. I'm not arguing your final assessment. I'm not sure this will make the cut, but I'll keep it in the mix.
Arizona's due to lose a close game at home. They're due. Like 8-1 teams usually don't win most of their games by 4 points. Like they won the game against Philly in the last minute. How he got behind them there, I have no clue.
No.
But
yeah, no, it's not a terrible.
Like they beat the Chargers 18-17.
Yeah,
it's got to give. And
though they have won by except for this week, nothing more than 11. But they have won by 10 and 11 points, even though they seem a bit smoke and mirrors to me. I'm with you on Detroit. We'll discuss it when we get down to the final betting. It's in the mix.
Okay.
Next game up, Philly +5 at Green Bay. I don't want to touch it.
Fives.
If this were in Philly, I would probably even lay 7 for Philly.
Now,
but this being
if this was in Philly, it'd be a pick'em. If this was in Philly, it'd be a pick'em. Or Green Bay by 1, like they were in fucking New Orleans.
Do you... we all saw the destruction of the Bears.
Yeah, but
Jordy Nelson wasn't even covered on 2 of those plays. I can't see any other team making that seemingly fundamental mistake.
No, but can Green Bay... Here's my question. Can Green Bay stop Philly's offense? Philly's got a ton of fucking weapons, dude. A ton.
Yeah. It's in Green Bay, though.
This is going to be a fucking video game score. This could be last team with the ball wins. I'm not saying
I don't mind Philly +5. Oh boy, that's.
I'm not saying we have to bet it, but Green Bay is destroying the teams they should, and the Saints' defense isn't great.
Saints?
And they struggled.
Oh yeah, okay.
Against Green Bay. They should have lost to Miami.
Well, I don't think Philly's defense is great either.
No, but they have to stop
haven't played a team with Philly's offense. Saints is the closest thing, and they got blown out. Couldn't get off the field. The Green Bay defense. I don't care if we bet on it. I'm taking Philly.
I'm on Philly.
Five's too much.
No, you convinced me a fair bit there. All right.
Let's be honest. That NFC North is a fucking joke outside of Detroit. To me, Green Bay's not a football team. Who are they stopping? I don't know how they're stopping Philly. And I'm not saying Philly can stop Green Bay either, but I'll take my chances with what Green Bay's shown me against good competition this year.
Sanchez versus Rodgers. Interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just, it sounds weird as a sentence. Okay, Sunday nighter. New England, +3 at Indy. Now, I kind of like this one.
And you're going New England too, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't mind that. And we're taking them to win.
I was just going to say, like, at 2.5, I'd definitely take him to win. At 3, I still like him to win.
If he has no defense.
No pass rush. I mean, let's look at that blowout win by KC over New England. How did it happen? It was KC's pass rush. That was the big thing. Indy does not have a good pass rush.
No.
And
they're not stopping Gronkowski.
No, they're not stopping Gronkowski. And you saw what Roethlisberger did against this defense with time.
Yeah.
Now, I know Vontae Davis is back from his injury, but he's still just one guy. And a weird sort of unintended benefit of New England having no really good wide receivers is that Brady will throw it to any of them. LaFell isn't terrible. He drops way too many, but he gets open enough that he's going to see balls.
Revis will be on Hilton.
Belichick is fairly strong against the spread after a bye week. It's like 8-4, something like that. It was hard to get the numbers against the spread for some reason. I like New England in this game.
Yeah, me too.
And one of Buffalo or Miami, after the Thursday night game, they're nipping at the heels of New England. This is a strange position for this New England team at this point in the season. Usually they're already printing their AFC East hats.
Yeah, New England, coming off a bye week.
They're both coming off byes. I mean, Andrew Luck is goddamn fucking amazing, and I love watching him play, but he's still about the only thing that separates this team from a very average football team.
Yes.
The other thing that KC was able to do against New England was run the ball. Bradshaw and Richardson do not scare me. They're fine enough as a running back tandem, but
they shut down everything against Denver.
Yes.
Running game, passing game. Like Manning had 458 yards, but it was inconsequential. Luck could throw. It's not time to pass the torch just yet. Let's just put it that way. Luck's the next great quarterback behind Manning and Brady right now, but it's not his time. The team, they look exactly how they did when Manning was there.
Yeah, I mean, T.Y. Hilton, everyone talks, he's just so much faster. Look at his overall numbers. He can be shut down. And if there's a guy who, even though I don't think he's playing to his career record, Revis is a guy who can take Hilton out of the game. Then what do they have? Reggie Wayne, fine. He'll get 7 balls for 85 yards and first downs. But he's a compliment at this stage.
Can you believe they blew out fucking Denver in their last game and they're 3-point dogs?
Wow. Now you're just suddenly making me think fishy line.
No, it's just they're giving them the home team.
Yeah. They're calling them equal, and I agree with you. Luck, we're both huge fans of Andrew Luck. But
I like him as a quarterback. I hate Indianapolis. Let's make that clear.
Okay.
And I respect him more than fucking Peyton Manning. He's more of a team guy than Manning ever was or will be.
A while ago, and I said he's the next Elway, which is extraordinarily high praise in my books.
Yes.
Because I still think Elway is probably the best of them all. But,
yeah, they don't even talk about Elway's running anymore.
No. Everyone seems to have forgotten that he carried terrible teams and, yes, got blown out in the Super Bowl. But those teams shouldn't have fucking sniffed a Super Bowl.
Well, that just shows how awful the AFC was back then, though, too.
Oh, yeah. But he still carried those fucking teams. With bad coaching, bad everything.
They talk about Kaepernick and Wilson and that, and Rodgers working, and then Roethlisberger. Fucking Elway was better than all of them at moving around and throwing on the run and everything. But we're in the age of what happened yesterday, or what happened right now, that everybody forgets everything that happened in the past.
Well, and again, it comes down to the steroids era argument that I brought up in our recap show.
Yeah,
it's amazing how quickly people have forgotten how amazing Elway was.
And I feel sorry for people that are like 10, 12, 14 years old right now and think this is what football should be. When Elway and Marino and Montana, quarterbacks had to be football players, not video game characters. Where you couldn't hit them, they never got hurt. Like, these guys never got hurt playing in that era. If you didn't get rid of the ball, you were getting crushed. Montana got hurt the most out of the three, I believe.
Well, and Marino's big injury, he dropped back to pass like he'd done countless thousands of times, and his Achilles just popped.
Yeah.
It wasn't like on a hit. Yeah, that was fairly late in his career. But that was the first significant injury from a non-mobile guy who threw more than anyone in history at that point.
And like you've talked about quick releases and that with Rivers and stuff.
Yeah.
Elway, Marino, fucking Montana, three-step drops, bang. Three-step drop, bang. If they were playing right now, Peyton Manning wouldn't even be sniffing a record.
Under this rule system, I agree with you.
Fuck, they put it up when receivers got fucking mugged.
Oh, yeah, forget this. Yeah. Anyway. And receivers could mug, too. I mean, just thinking about Aikman to Irvin.
That's my old
Irvin
guy
was a head slap man. So
that's my old guy rant for the week. It was better in my day.
Join us tomorrow when we shout at clouds.
I hate when people do that because they do it with hockey and everything else. I'm not saying athletes were better back then. The game was better back then because defense mattered. You could actually win a game with defense. You can't now. Or it's very rare.
Yeah, Seattle, strange exception. But, okay, so that one's definitely in the mix. And the Monday night game we're not allowed to bet on and are maybe discouraged from watching. Pittsburgh minus 5.5 at Tennessee.
Oh, my God. Take Pittsburgh, please.
This line seems awfully low, too.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh just lost at the Jets.
Yeah, and, well, one comment I read, again, I think this was Football Outsiders, just said Pittsburgh against the Jets was revealed to be what they are. They're an average football team who got hot for 2 weeks.
But Dick LeBeau's defense against a rookie quarterback?
Oh, yeah.
Good luck. Fuck. We couldn't run against fucking Baltimore. We're not running against Pittsburgh. We haven't run against anybody. Mettenberger looked good for a quarter. Then they changed up their defense. And like I said in the recap show, we didn't have a first down from late in the first quarter to halfway through the fourth quarter against Baltimore. Yeah. Our defense played okay. I don't know how we stop Le'Veon Bell or those wide receivers. I think we're ranked last in offense.
And I don't think
31st.
you'll be a +4 turnover margin like the Jets were. I mean, that's just fluky for any team to be down 4 in turnovers.
Yeah, take the Steelers.
Yeah,
this should be 7 or 8.
Okay.
Right now.
Well, we actually have 7 marked as in the mix.
Okay, let's take Seattle out right now.
Okay.
I don't like.
But we are both taking Seattle in the points.
Yeah, but I don't like them on the road that much to bet on them.
No, I do think they're coming back, but yeah, I'm not comfortable.
That was one half of football at home, so
I would like to take Detroit out.
okay, done. I'm taking Detroit still.
Yeah, we're both taking Detroit. We like them. We like their team. I don't want to bet on them. Plus, we have a terrible record when betting for or against Detroit.
Yeah, Doug, we're not helping you much this week. You're on your own, buddy, in Nevada. So good luck.
No, I think one we are going to take is we're going to take the money line on New England.
Yeah.
I like that bet quite a bit.
Yeah, New England on the money line, +130 in Indianapolis. $10 pays 23. Booked.
All right.
What? You're not currently logged in as a member. What? I am so. Let me refresh here. It'll probably fucking bounce me. We've been talking too much.
Okay. So, of the...
Just hang on, I gotta sign in again.
Okay. I'll just bring up some of the other games we're looking at. I think we can take Minnesota at Chicago. It was already a dark horse anyway, though we're both on Minnesota.
Yeah.
So that leaves us 3 games to pick 2 from. I'll recap them for you real quick. We have Denver -9.5 at the Rams. We both like Denver. We have Houston +3 at Cleveland. And we have Philly +5 at Green Bay. Of those 3, you made a good argument. I kind of like the Philly +5.
Oh, see, I was going to say Cleveland. Rookie quarterback, dude. In Cleveland.
Well, we've got 2 more to bet, so...
I know, but here, let me get this New England game finally in. If it tells me I'm not a member this time after relogging back in, we're in trouble.
Yeah, and then we've got a virus.
So, New England +130 at Indy, $10 pays 23. Yes, it's in. Yay. Okay, so we have I would lean over Cleveland over Philly.
Okay.
But it's fucking -125. Fuck.
Cleveland bandwagon.
Hey?
The Cleveland bandwagon.
Yeah, but Ryan, it's 125 because fucking Ryan Mallett's starting at quarterback. Oh, and they just dismantled Cincy on the road.
Arian Foster's done, right?
Yeah.
Let's still book it at 125. Like I said, I mean, I know we're running a hot hand right now, but let's not micromanage our prices. That would matter a lot more if we were betting $10,000, not 10.
Yeah. So we have the Browns -3 at home against the Texans. $10 pays 18. That's not bad.
No. And so our last 2 games, we can either lay 9.5 for Denver, or we can take 5 for Philly.
Well, see, man,
your argument on the Philly game was really strong.
I know, but okay, we're betting against. Here's the rub. And you brought up a good point. Sanchez versus Rodgers, 1. Manning versus Austin Davis, 2. Which game would you rather bet after that? And Manning wants every fucking record. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to get 7 touchdowns to match Roethlisberger's 12 in 2 weeks. It seemed like that's what him and Rodgers were doing. They don't run. Nobody runs. They get down to the 5, they threw 1 pass to Hillman.
I give more credit to Rodgers on this because how can you ignore a single high safety versus Jordy Nelson? Like, you just can't ignore that. Like, could you imagine when he surveyed the line and looked up and saw no corner on Jordy Nelson and just a high safety down the field? How do you not just go, I'm throwing that?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's like they're all going for fucking ridiculous touchdown stats now. Like, they get down to the 5, they don't even try and run, they don't even pretend to run the ball anymore. Either of these teams. But if I can have Manning against Austin Davis under 10,
well,
do we really think St. Louis can hold them under 40? What scares me is Green Bay could just light it up like they did against the Bears. That Eagles, I'm not sold 100%.
So you're saying bet on the
defense.
offense here. That's strong, Boyd. Let's do Denver. Though every time we lay big points with Denver, they fuck us.
Yeah, okay, if we had a touchdown out of the Eagles, I'd be safer.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And maybe I'm overrating the Eagles because I really enjoy watching those guys
Marlon.
play. No, and I think you've made the point.
If Denver was playing anybody but St. Louis,
St. Louis has 11 sacks in the last 2 days, but Denver's defense is good. There's no wide receiver other than Tavon Austin, who is a wide receiver in name only. Let's do Denver.
Okay. $10. We have Denver minus 9.5 at St. Louis. $10 pays $19.09. Bet is booked. Do you want to give us a recap there, buddy?
All right. After much discussion this week, we are betting Denver minus 9.5 at St. Louis. 10 pays $19.09. We are betting Cleveland at home to cover 3 points against Houston and Ryan Mallett. $10 pays $18. And we are betting on the money line New England to beat Indianapolis. 10 pays $23.
That covers our vig on the other one. On the Cleveland bet. That works out okay. Do you have anything else to add this week, buddy?
Not much, except I really like getting points with New England.
Yes, I did. I fucking blew it once, not again. All right, if you want to check out our podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device, on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Our personal Twitter accounts at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd. Facebook.com/Offensive Lines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And let's hope our hot hand continues.
I always take Tom Brady getting points.
Degenerate fucking gambler.